Hello, and welcome once again to Sportsline here on Daily Mirror Online. I'm Shehan Daniel, and with us today is Dilantha Malagamuwa, who I think can be best described as being in a league of his own when it comes to motor racing in Sri Lanka. He has had the Sri Lanka flag plastered on his racing car wherever he has competed in the last 40 years. And among the many achievements in his career, he has won the GT Asia Championship and also the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Asian Championship. Thank you for joining us today, Dilantha.
Yeah, hi, how are you?
I'm good. Yeah, so let me start by asking you about the series that you're currently participating in, the Lamborghini Super Trofeo European Championship. Tell us a bit about it, and also if you could just elaborate a bit on the competition and like how competitive is the field and competitive is the environment.
Yeah, actually, I started racing in Europe from 2017, and I've been since then. I've been competing in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Europe Championship plus uh, the European GT Sports Club. So I've been doing both, and it's very competitive. Like I raced in Asia for many years, and we have won many championships. And in Europe, I think if you take the standards of racing, the highest level of racing is in Europe, and because there's like many, I mean, all of the champions from all over the world they come and compete with each other. But in motor racing, even in Asia, when we were competing, it was not only for Asians. It was for because the series was held in Asia. It was called Asian Championships, but drivers from all over the world came and competed with us. So I raced in Japan for many years, and I did the Asian Championships. And while racing in Asia, I've been racing in Europe. I've been in Europe, Australia, and also in States, which I've done a lot of endurance races. But I should say that the most competitive and the standard of racing in Europe is totally different from others.
What's a typical race weekend look like for you, and how do you prepare for a race?
Oh, typical. Yeah. I mean, you must have seen all the. I mean, on TV when you say Formula One and all that. So it's very competitive. And then it's very professional. And I mean, like all the races is professional, but these are for different level. So, uh, I mean, for preparation, we have to do a lot of things, starting from the track walk, and we have to talk with engineers, data engineers, and set up the cars. We have to have a good feel about the car. So we get testing only 2 hours on Friday, and then so that is we have to share with another driver. So you get only about 1 hour, and then we get qualifying and then race. The difference is because now we are competing from Asia against the Europeans, so we only get that 1 or 2 hours of testing on that Friday. But if you say for the European, like they test every weekend. So we have a handicap there, but saying that still we have been winning, and so it's all of the preparation, and also it's a teamwork. You should have a good team. So thankfully, because I mean, Lamborghini has been supporting me since 2010, so they find us the best teams, and also they give us the best engineers. So that way, I've been lucky. So, but as I said, we have a big handicap because we don't get that kind of testing all over, because it's very expensive to do private testing. But still, we managed to win. So, and this year I've been racing with Ashan for the first time. I'm racing at the Sri Lankan, but this year we could do only one race, and because of the travel restrictions and things, we had to stop it. So I'm also now based in Dubai, because when I'm in Sri Lanka, it was difficult to travel and things. So I have moved to Dubai about 4 months ago, and I've just got my residence visa. So now I have to get my vaccination, and then we can start. But I think this year I won't be able to do any more races, but we'll be doing the whole championship next year. And I'm still hoping to do it with Asham, because one of my main dreams are to get another Sri Lankan race with me. So planning to do that, but as you all know, it's not easy to find sponsors at the moment. And because I'm running under the Sri Lankan flag, it's unless other than for Lamborghini, it's so difficult to find sponsors overseas. So also finding sponsorships in Sri Lanka is not an easy task. But last few years, last 2 years, I think tourism was helping us a little bit. So I hope they can help us next year. And uh, anyway, so we will be competing again in the full championship next year, because our main target is to win the world championship. Because in 2017 in the world championship, I could only finish third. So my main, because I have won European championships plus Asian championships, Japanese championships, But my next target is to win the world championship. So getting prepared for that.
One of the biggest debates when it comes to motor racing is how much of it comes down to the driver's skill as opposed to the vehicle or the machine that they're driving. In your opinion, what makes a good racing driver?
It's a lot, it's just not a single thing, so you have to have physical fitness, you have to have a knowledge about cars, then you have to have your patience, your mindset, it's a total package, and especially in a race, you think that sometimes there are a lot of talented drivers, but there are a lot of mathematics here, when you're driving, like say our race is about 50 minutes, and then, you have to do the calculations. When are you going to do the move and your lap times, So while you're driving, while you're doing 280, 300 kilometers per hour, you have to do your calculations, So sometimes you have to, ease a little bit, let go, and then get it again. So you can't be arrogant all the time, also. But sometimes you can't give up. Also, all this works, So it's a I mean, if racing is because from the start to finish, there's no time to think or to breathe, So while going on the speed, you have got to do your arithmetics and mathematics, So it's very important. So you have to be knowledgeable. So there's a lot comparing to other sports because if you see inside a race car, you don't get, like there's no air condition. So the room temperature is very high, sometimes it goes up to about 60. And with all the temperature concentrating, there's so much to do. So that's the difference in compared to other sports, because from start to finish, you have no time to rest or think about, and then thousands of a second is a important thing for us. So as I said, experience counts a lot, skills plus experience plus your mindset. Meditation is very important for racing and being positive, So there's a lot. It's a full package. Unless you're, unless you're capable of doing all that, it's not easy to become a champion. Because even if you see a championship, it's like few rounds a year. So maybe 7 rounds, 14 races. So each race you have to, your points are very important, So you can't give away even one race. You might lose the whole championship. So as I said, so it's concentration and mathematics. So it's a lot to do. Your physical fitness compared to other sports is very high because of you do have your straps, your racing suits, your underwear, your helmet, your hands device, with all that, with that temperature. So there's a lot, So there's a lot of commitment. So so all that counts.
You've been racing for 40 years now, and you've lived and raced in several countries. Is there one race that you look back on most fondly?
I remember every race because every tour when I look, I remember every race. So it's all in my mind, all the races I've done. So I have even including Sri Lanka, I have I have about 400 podiums. And I think the most interesting was the World Championship in Imola, because that was very. I started 15th, then I had to go back to about 28th or something, and then I moved up to second, and we had 3 more laps. I would have won the race, but then uh, when I moved to second, there was accident, and then the race was red flag. So I was, because then you get your your position or your results are from the previous lap. So I had to go back to third. But I think that was one of the best races I've done. Every race is best, but that was, phenomenal. That was very interesting. I gave up. I gave everything I had.
You've previously spoken about how the movie Silver Dream Racer inspired you to become a motor racer. What was it about that movie that inspired you?
Actually, it was about a racing rider. How like his brother was a racing rider, and then in accident he passed away. Then he gets his bike, the Silver Dream bike, and he was. He was competing with the top riders, and then he wins the race, and then after winning the race, he finished the cross line, and after he crosses the finish line, his front wheel comes out, and then he has an accident and he dies. So I thought this story should continue. It should stop there. So actually, that's what inspired me, and I thought I can continue it. So I was very young and always too optimistic, and I thought it can be done. So I knew it's not easy to do it in Sri Lanka, so I had to take some decisions which I don't think anyone could have done, but it worked for me.
Yeah. Were you always interested in cars and racing, or was it something that developed after you watched that movie?
No, actually, I was very interested in cars and motorcycles from my small age because at home, and then by the age of 7, 6, 7, I could ride, and 8, I could drive, But I was never had intention of becoming a racing driver or a champion. I was very good at studies, and my mother wanted me to become a doctor. But after watching this movie, I thought, no, actually, life, what I should have. I mean, sometimes the thing is like in life, you don't know what you really want to do unless you see it. So when I saw this movie, I thought, no, this is what I wanted to do. So without fulfilling my mother's dream, I wanted to fulfill my dream. And it was not easy as all. But I mean, it worked for me. So, but it was not easy. It was like my decisions taking. I mean, I was a person who never planned things. I was just like moving on what I had, and I always thought that moment the present was the most important thing. So I took decisions that uh, which my parents didn't want me to, and like no one wanted me. But up to now, it had worked for me. So I think we all only lives once. We live once, so we should take those decisions, and if you have the courage and the determination and the commitment to do it, I don't think it's not only me; anyone can do it in any career.
How was the idea of becoming a motor racer received by your family?
They were dead against my racing. So when I did my first interest race in India, I had to sneak my bike and go to India to do it. And then when I wanted to go to Japan, my father was dead against it. So I sold my car, bought a one-way ticket, and I had 4,000 rupees, and I took off.
One thing that you struggled with for most of your racing career was not being given the due recognition for your achievements. You received state patronage for the first time in 2018. How difficult was it for you to compete without receiving that support, and how demotivating was it for you?
Yeah, I knew it's going to be very difficult. So from the start, as soon as I went to Japan, I mean, I lived in a van for a while, and I did odd jobs for the prestige. And then I thought, doing this, I will never be able to become a racer. So I started my own business, and then I stood on myself, and I knew I will not be able to get from the state or anything. So at that time, as racing was not so popular in Sri Lanka at that time. But then but I think is you can't depend on others. If you want to do something, it's by yourself. So I realized it a long time ago during my start, and my mother used to always tell me, like if you want to do things in life, you got to do it yourself. Don't depend on your parents. So and I had the guts to do that. So I used to work like 22 hours a day, to save money. And it's the end of the day, I thought like I'm doing it for myself. See, a commitment. Sometimes, it's like you sacrifice. You say you have sacrificed a lot, but I should say a sacrifice when you do it for yourself is not a sacrifice, because you are doing it to fulfill your dreams. But it becomes a sacrifice when you do it for someone else. Like I did for Sri Lanka. I carried the Sri Lankan flag for the last 30 few years in motor racing internationally, and then we have had a lot of good results. The Sri Lankan flag has been flying all over the world, not only in Asia, but all over the world. So then it becomes a sacrifice because all the money you earn is spent on giving publicity for your country. So then it became a different passion. But I should say that comparing to other sportsmen in the world, I'm one of the luckiest and the happiest because all Sri Lankans, without any religious, race, nothing, they all supported me. And I should take the slogan on the car saying, my main sponsor is humble Sri Lankans. And I think at the end of the day, we do all for self-satisfaction. And I don't think anyone has the self-satisfaction as me because all the Sri Lankans supported me.
Right. Not only did you receive that state sponsorship last year, or in 2018 rather, but now you've also become a member of the National Sports Council. Has there been any discussion on improving motorsports in Sri Lanka?
Not yet, because they don't consider motorsports as one of the top sports in Sri Lanka, so they have priorities. So I think we are stage 3 or something. But saying that, if anyone recalls it, motorsports has given one of the biggest publicity for Sri Lanka. If you see cricket with all that money spent for them, I'm not against anyone. I'm just talking about because giving so much of money, publicity, managers, they have given everything. But single-handed how much publicity I've given for Sri Lanka. Not publicity, glory. Uh, Winning around the countries. I mean, in Europe, where no one knows cricket, I've been doing it all over years, So uh, I don't know how they categorize these, but but you have to all see that who has given so much. I mean, single-handed, and if you say the state sponsorship is only, they have not even given me 20% or 25% of the cost. But still, I have done this for Sri Lanka. So if you see in Sri Lanka, if you think that Sri Lankan national anthem has been played in how many countries, I think I've done it alone so many times compared to all other teams. So I'm proud to say that. And I don't know how they categorize.
In your opinion, what does Sri Lanka need to do to develop young drivers to be able to compete on the international circuit? And do you think motorsport is something that Sri Lanka can have success in internationally?
If I was successful, there'll be a lot of other Sri Lankans. There are so many talented Sri Lankans. And motorsports is a thing that's worldwide publicity given, like always. And also, it's the rich people who get into sport. So Sri Lanka can develop a lot through this if we have proper race. But I should remember one thing. I had talked to Mr. David Pires. He built that go-kart circuit at Bandaragama. And so anyone who has a commitment, they can, so that's grassroots, right? During our time, we didn't even have a proper circuit in Sri Lanka. So we had to do everything going overseas. But now if someone wants to start, there it is, So I'm very thankful to David Pires. But, having a circuit in Sri Lanka, you can remember the Colombo night race that was so popular. There was 200,000 spectators, And every race you go, even if you see like Fox Hill and other places, there's so much of spectators. So the people love the sport. And like then we had this, I got this racing live with Dilantha Malagamuwa on TV, and now we have got a thing called Ratha. So that gave a lot of publicity, and then there's a huge fan base, and they all love motorsports. And there's so many young children saying we want to become racing championships. So I think to develop motorsports is not a difficult thing in Sri Lanka, and that can bring so much of publicity. If you see like India in Naren Karthikeyan and all that, they went to Formula One. Alex Yoon went to Formula One from Malaysia, and the whole sponsorship was given by the government. The government paid them everything. They pampered them, But where did they go? And as I said, I didn't get many things, but I put Sri Lanka on the map more, So, I'm not just blaming or complaining, but I think I was able to do it, but not maybe another talented guy might not be able to do it because financially he won't be in that position. It's not easy to go and work 22 hours a day and still concentrate on racing. So I think it's high time if you have good talent to support. Now I think there's young Johan David, so he's racing now in Europe in cars, and he's doing really well. So we should support him. And Ashan is doing very well, and then Mr. David Pires' son Ashan, I hope he continues. So we have good talent. We have had good riders. We have had all that, but it's not easy because it's so expensive, and the government says it's very expensive. But then the publicity, if we compare the publicity you get according to the money you spend, is huge. So I think they should consider more about it.
You set up your own racing team, Dilango Racing. What would you like to see achieved through that team?
I think in life, when someone is controlled, it's difficult to give you a fullest performances because when I was racing in different teams, there was team orders, so I can't do what I want to. Sometimes, we have a radio on the car while going, you have to listen to them. They will say, don't do this, don't do that, And if I want to set up the car, they might say, if I'm just a driver, they'll say, no, we have to do it this way. So there are things that I can't take the decisions. I can tell them, but they take the decisions. So I thought, no, I thought if I'm not being controlled, I knew that I could do better things. So in 2009, when I moved to Malaysia to run the race school there, I started my own team. And I think after that, we won most of the races, after building my own brand, Dilango. So, and now I race in Europe, but they always give me priority. I can always tell this what I want. And so that's how we keep winning, because when you are controlled, I think in any sport, you hesitate sometimes, you can't give you 100% performance, but when you're in control of yourself, you can do better things. So that's why I started Dilango Racing.
do you have any young drivers in the team that you would like to see, growing to bring the kind of glory to Sri Lanka that you have brought?
Actually, now I'm supporting Ashan, because Ashan, so we are racing together. So, and I mean, like, my intention is to build a proper racing circuit in Sri Lanka. And the problem is to help another driver, I should be financially sound good. I have to sound good in financial. But right now, I'm struggling to do my sponsors because we have few more things to win the world championship and few more things. But I always, whenever I get a chance, so I'm helping Ashan to go there. And then maybe if we find good talent, we will definitely help. So we have to find a mechanism. I mean, like if the government is willing to support, and yes, of course, and I will support because you see, I don't know how long I can be in the international track, and then when I retire, I don't want to. I mean, I want Sri Lanka flag to be flying on. I mean, flying high in international racing. So I don't want to see that's been gone. So I will support for sure. Yeah, we have plans, so we'll be doing accordingly.
Right. That brings me to my next question: is how long more do you think you'll be racing? Have you thought about retirement at any stage?
Yeah, as long as you fit, because like, see, people who race with me, they gave up like 20, 25 years ago, and I'm racing against their children. So I think it's all depending. So I think I can do at least for another 10 years. I can go on. There's no issues here.
What do you hope to achieve in that next decade?
I want to win the world championship once, and then there are some. I want many endurance races, but I want to do like Le Mans, Spa, 24 hours, so few international races, and then I want to do the WEC, the World Endurance Championship, maybe in 2-3 years with another Sri Lanka, not with two other Sri Lankan, and we want to win that also. Uh, yeah, so because I won Asian Championship, Japan Championship, Malaysian Championships, and European Championship. And next is the World Championship. So at least not once. I want to do it 2-3 times. So we'll be working on that.
We wish you all the best, Dilantha, for your races ahead, and we hope to see you succeed on the international stage. For our viewers, that's all the time we have for today. Hope to see you in our next episode. Take care and stay safe.